All right, it's me today. We are talking 3-6A, and we are joined with Boswell Head Coach John Abendschan. Coach Ab, which is what I'll call you, and talk about this district because a lot of people look at it as Trinity and the others, like some sort of Diana Ross and the Pips type thing or whatever.
No doubt.
The Pips. But you guys were a playoff team last year, and you guys fought through the rest of the district. I know Trinity's is a tall task, but that's the ultimate goal, is to get that district title and knock them off as well. So talk about how things went last year, and this district looks fairly similar to the year before, except you're adding Crowley and
Crowley. Now it's I think we get a bad rap because of the Trojans but of them being the only one, and they're going to be awesome. They're going to be good again. Coach Lineweaver is coming in, junior, and he is. I don't think there's any different than the senior, and so they're going to be tough and solid, and they're going to play good football. But I think North Crowley and Weatherford have a lot to say about that as well. We didn't beat them either last year, and so. But the thing about our district, when we went up against 4-6A, we went 2-2 against them, and pushed that third game, and they're solid as a rock too. So the thing is that we're all going to push each other equally, but when you start breaking down the teams, each team has a dynamic that has to prepare for. The ones that I mentioned, North Crowley's they've got some kids that are just awesome, and in Trinity's got Coach Lineweaver coming in new. You got Coach Gates coming into North Crowley, and he brings a lot of juice, and that thing's going to be rolling after Coach Allen left. Aubrey getting into Weatherford and the stuff that he runs. I mean, if I didn't have to play them, I really would enjoy watching them on offense, because they get in about 600 formations and what they're doing and all that stuff. And then and I really believe the coaching in our district is really quality. Coach Killo that's out at Pasco, Coach Bodie has got a great group coming back at Chisholm Trail. Coach Dibble is in his second year at LD Bell, and he just comes from, great quality and really building something there for the Blue Raiders. I mean, they fought us for the last playoff spot in the final game last year. And so, and then you talk about Crowley coming in, J.J. Resendez. The Pioneers haven't beat them. We were in the district. We hadn't beat them. It may be a couple decades since we've beaten the Eagles. So it's going to be awesome. I mean, we're going to push each other, and it's trying to get ready for that next level.
Well, the cool thing about your team is you can sit down, you can look at your roster, and all of a sudden you're seeing not only the offensive newcomer of the year, but the defensive newcomer of the year. So you got youth that has already proven themselves with Sawyer and Jaden. Talk about those two guys, and then we'll talk a little bit about Ezra Carter a little bit later on.
No doubt. Sawyer was, and this is a group that these seniors, I'll talk about them a little bit, but they 2 years ago, our first year in 6A, our last game against LD Bell, we started 13 sophomores and 3 freshmen, and you talk about batting down the hatches. It was like a JV team rolling in there, and I was so proud of them just because they battled through it. My coaches overcame so much adversity, and so we're starting to see the fruits of our labor of coming to terms. And so Sawyer was a freshman in that game, and he was a receiver 2 years ago. And second half, we look at him and say, by the way, you're going to quarterback. And his eyes were, about that big, and he got in. We found a way to win. And Jaden was a freshman, and we moved him up. And he's a special talent. Sawyer's a phenomenal baseball player, committed to Texas A&M to play baseball for them. And even though it's A&M, I'm really proud of him. But he's it's just a dynamic multi-sport kid, and handles it both very well, very level-headed, and it doesn't get to him. And so he was able to take over as a quarterback last year and from jump. And you just saw week by week the improvement. And, he got COVID the very first week, and then we had to come back, and then every week we got better and better and better. And then by the time we hit Eaton, that first playoff game, he really shined. And the exact same thing you say about Jaden. Jaden is a pretty kid. He kind of breaks the mold of the Boswell kid. He's taller than 5'11", and so he is a good-looking dude, and he's got a great motor at that defensive end, and he's continually improving and just creates chaos in his game, and at defensive line. That's really all you can ask, because he's a special kid.
When you talk about motor, you got to talk about your running back, Ezra Carter. That's a nice 1-2 punch there with Sawyer and Ezra. Mm-hmm. Talk about what he brings to the table and how he picked up 1,500 yards last year. Yeah. Just talk about how he's one of the better running backs in this district.
Well, to tell you how good a head coach I am, that Bell game I talked about, he ran for 60 yards because we were about on our 6th running back that night, and I'm so good that I move him back to outside linebacker, not at the very first of the season and then the first game. So he didn't even touch the ball, and so we played 11 games that year because we lost the COVID game, and so in 10 games he ran for 1,500 yards. So they have to overcome me a lot of times, but Ezra is one of those kids that you love to coach. He has got great strength. He's got great vision. Even while he played outside linebacker, and he's going, I'd really like to play running back. He was phenomenal at that position and creating a lot of plays. In fact, the first game that we put him against Centennial, he went both ways, played outside linebacker and ran for, I think, a couple hundred yards in that game. And we didn't put him back at outside linebacker after that. And so he is, I think it's his strength and vision and his trust of the offensive line that really has enabled him. And you ask him, he would tell you his offensive line leads him, and he gets hit and he won't go down. And I think, and it goes back to his work ethic. It's not a deal. It's not a fluke. It's the effort that he puts into the weight room, and he's one of my captain's counsel. And so it's fun to watch him lead the way that he runs the ball. He doesn't let stuff drag him down. He doesn't let adversity. He just kind of figures out a way. Let's find a way and let's do it. And he's a tough dude. I'm glad he's on my team.
Well, you're talking about the offensive line. It looks like graduation hit a little bit there. And if there's one position in this district that you need some meat there, is at the O-line when you're battling those Tongans.
We're not going to get to play 7-on-7 on Friday night, so I think that's been eliminated from the possibility. But no, we graduate some awesome kids. Chris Lister's heading to Navy, and Clayton Obispo is going to he's going to play beyond, and a lot of seniors, Mason Monk and Austin Lyon. I mean, just dudes that were great. And then, but we got some cats that got some great experience too. And so Elijah Brand and Connor Austin come back with some really good experience. And then we've got some work to do. Casey Staples, our line coach, he's going to earn his keep, because it's been a deal. And yeah, I've heard Trinity's got some big kids. So we got some. They all do. Weatherford quarterback is bigger than most of our linemen. So we got a whole lot of issues beyond just that. But no, we knew that was our cross to bear, and because it's one up front, and that's our job, is to get those big boys ready. And luckily Connor and Elijah are 2 captain's council members, and they're great leaders, great weight room guys. So who's going to play on the offensive line? That's a great question. I'll let you know when we get there.
Well, before I let you go, let's talk a little bit about your non-district. Who do you have on the schedule, and what do you hope to get out of those games to get you prepared for district play?
It worked out really good. When realignment came out, it kind of shook everything up with what we had and what we were looking at. And so that snow morning when we were all sitting on the couch, locked away, I started making phone calls left and right because everything went haywire. So we're gonna our first game, we haven't played Saginaw for the Wagon Wheel, and that's our crosstown rival. They're 5A. Mike Peters is coming back. He's going to lead them, and that's our first game out of the year. We haven't had that game, and that's a big game here in our community. And it's and by the way, they have the Wagon Wheel chained up in their field house that my daughters have seen at powerlifting meets or whatever, and they remind me of that all the time. So we haven't played them in 2 years. So that is up for grabs is the Wagon Wheel game. So that's going to be the first one here at Pioneer Stadium. And then one I'm really excited about just as well is Kirk Thor and the Lake Ridge guys from Mansfield. Man, that's going to be a great. Kirk Thor came over here when he was the Mansfield High head coach way back when in 2004 and played here. and he just brings a great level of coaching, and really the integrity that he coaches with is pretty awesome. And then an old district rival just kind of fell, and Coach Tucker at Haltom, we're going to go over there and play at the FAC on a Thursday night. And so all 3 games, really, you had mentioned it's our offensive line, getting our line to trust each other. And it doesn't matter if you're 3-0, 0-3, 1-2, 2-1. It doesn't make a difference. It's getting ready for the March, because if you're 3-0 and lose all your district games, you're putting up helmets and playing basketball. So we want to march on and play. We got to get ready. Our goal is to win every one of them, but I got to get these guys gelled together and play like a bunch of champions, because they're awesome kids. I mean, it's a blessing to coach here at Boswell, because they work hard, and I'm excited about what next season brings.
Absolutely. And so it's actually one of those districts where, yes, you want to make those top 4, but when you look at your next opponent, you want to make the top 3, so you don't mess around with those dragons either. So
I heard South Lake's in that district. I hear apparently Coach Riley's still there, so I think they're going to be pretty good.
I hear they might be good. Well, I appreciate you joining me, Coach. And good luck this upcoming season, and especially with your summer workouts coming up in August.
I appreciate you, man. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk again, okay?
All right.